Ever wondered, what big financial decisions are really shaping your local community's future? Today, we're going to take a closer look into Buffalo, Minnesota's recent city council workshop. They were talking about the 2026 budget and their long range financial planning. We spent some time digging through the official city documents, the agenda, all the reports, the presentation slides. And our goal here really is to pull out the key information. How might these proposals affect your taxes and the city's debt down the road?
Yeah, and maybe before we jump right into the numbers, it might be good to quickly touch on a couple of terms people will hear. So when we say levy, that's basically the total property tax dollars the city plans to collect each year.
Okay, the total amount they need from property taxes.
Exactly. And debt service. That's
Yeah.
just the money needed to pay back loans, the principal and the interest for big projects.
Got it. Levy is the collection, debt service is the loan payments. Clear. So, this workshop back on July 28th, it wasn't about making the final calls, right?
No, not at all. It was more about the city staff presenting their initial thoughts, getting feedback from the council. And they'll use that input to actually draft the preliminary 2026 budget and tax levy.
Which, for folks in Buffalo, that gets presented pretty soon, August 19th.
Right. And what was really interesting, I thought, was how much the discussion focused on the long-term picture. We're talking a levy-supported plan that stretches out to 2035, plus a new capital improvement plan, the CIP, and the personnel plan for 2026. It really signals the city's financial direction for, well, the next decade.
Okay, so let's zero in on that capital improvement plan, the CIP. That sounds like a big piece of this. It covers 2026 to 2035 for governmental funds. And the total is over $111 million.
That's the number. Over $111 million. It's substantial.
Wow. What kind of major projects are we talking about here? Anything over, say, $1 million?
Oh, absolutely. There are several big ones. For example, there's $6.9 million planned for a city center and police department addition and renovation.
Yeah.
Then there's a really large item, $21 million for a recreation campus, so that's broken into phases.
21 million.
Okay. And $3.8 million for replacing fire engines, $8 million for fiber expansion, things like that.
So these are major investments.
Definitely. And the key thing highlighted in the documents is that the tax levy increases from 2027 through 2035. They're projected mainly because of these CIP projects. And a large chunk of that will need to be financed, meaning taking on new debt.
Okay, so that brings us back to the key question for residents. What does this all mean for your tax bill and the city's total debt?
Well, it definitely raises some important points. If you look just at 2026, the proposed debt portion of the levy is already set to go up by 13.5% compared to 2025. That brings it to over $3.15 million just for debt payments.
13.5% increase just for debt next year.
Yes. But then you look further out. The projections show some potentially very significant jumps in the total city levy. Get this. One scenario they presented forecasts a huge 67.4% increase in the levy for 2027.
67% in 1 year.
In 1 year in that scenario.
Yeah.
And in that case, the debt service paying back loans could make up over 57% of the entire levy. More than half your property tax bill just going to debt payments.
That's staggering. Are there other scenarios?
There's a more conservative one, yes.
No.
But even that one projects, consistent annual increases. So either way, the trend seems to be a steady climb in the tax bill for years to come, largely driven by this planned borrowing.
Wow, okay. That 67% number is hard to ignore, even if it's just one scenario. What about the immediate impact for 2026? And how does Buffalo stack up right now compared to similar towns?
Good questions. So for 2026, the preliminary estimate for a median valued home, even assuming a modest 3.16% rise in market value, shows an annual city tax increase of about $132.55.
Okay, so about $11 a month extra.
Roughly, yes. And for context, when you look at the 2025 municipal tax levies, Buffalo's levy is already higher than several comparable cities. Think St. Peter, Brainerd, New Ulm.
So starting from a higher point already.
It appears so. And the city's preliminary tax rate for 2026 is projected to be 54.05%. That's up from 51.97% in 2025. So the rate is ticking up too.
It's easy to get focused on the huge projects and the debt, obviously. But were there other things pushing that 2026 levy increase, besides the big construction plans?
Yes, definitely. It's not all about the CIP debt. The 2026 levy increase is also being driven by sort of the regular general levy activities. And a key part of that is the draft 2026 personnel plan.
Staffing.
Right. The plan proposes adding some new positions they deem essential across different departments, community center, parks, police. And those new roles add up. It's estimated at over $422,000 in annual wages and benefits just for the general fund. So that contributes to the overall increase you'll see as well.
Okay. So we've walked through Buffalo's pretty ambitious long-range financial plans, a capital improvement plan over $111 million. And the expectation is that these major projects will largely be paid for by taking on more debt, which will directly impact property taxes in the future.
And we noted Buffalo's current levy seems a bit higher compared to some similar cities, providing some context for these planned increases.
Right. So as the city gets ready to present that preliminary 2026 budget on August 19th, well, these are some really significant projected increases in spending and debt. It really makes you wonder, what questions does this raise for you about your community's priorities and its financial future? How much growth is, sustainable, and what are the long-term trade-offs for residents? Something to think about.